Clair Obscur walked out at Game Awards 2025 like it just robbed industry at gunpoint. 9 wins, no survivors. But while suits were clapping, my jaw hit floor for trailers that made me spine tingle. This wasn't an award show, it were a trailer heist. Proper hype, real reveals, no crypto bollocks or mobile cash grabs. This year's Game Awards gave us a glimpse of 2026 that might not suck. Alright you lot, strap in and shut up, because Game Awards just landed and I've got head full of caffeine, spite and game trailers burning holes in my brain. Let's get into it. Let's deal with elephants stomping around staging designer trainers. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. That game didn't just win awards, it turned Game Awards into hostage situation. Every time a new category came up, you could feel rooms sigh and go, here we go again. Best RPG? Yep. Narrative? Of course it did. Art direction? Obviously. Game of year? Stock horror. If you're playing a drinking game, every time Clair Obscur walked on stage you'd be in A&E by first ad break. Now let's be clear before comment section starts forming. This ain't me saying it's bad. It's not. It's bloody good. Stylish. Confident. Proper vision behind it. You can see craft. You can see why critics fell over themselves. But there's a difference between deserving praise and vacuuming up entire ceremony like a Dyson on crack. By halfway point, rest at awards felt like polite filler while everyone waited for next Clair Obscur victory lap. And that's problem. Not game. Show. When one title dominates that hard, everything else gets flattened. Other teams worked their asses off all year and got handed a 30-second speedrun speech slot while Jeff's already teeing up next trailer. That's not celebration, it's crowd control. You could almost hear industry thinking, right lads, back it up, we'll try again next year. Still, credit where it's due, Clair Obscur earned its flowers. It just didn't need all the bloody garden. One game at year win would have landed harder than a full suite that made night feel predictable. When you know who's winning and put envelopes open, magic's gone. And here's kicker, while all that were going on, real excitement were quietly building off to the side. In trailers, reveals. That stuff actually made people sit forward on sofa. And that's where this night really starts to get interesting. This wasn't your usual montage of shovelware and recycled franchises. Nah, this year they brought heavy artillery and horror fired first shot. Not kind where your wallet weeps after a 70 quid pre-order. I mean real skin-crawling, post-jacking, stare at screen like it owes you money horror. This year's Game Awards didn't just sprinkle horror on top, it bathed in it. Starting with one that made me pause my drink mid-swig, Resident Evil Requiem. New trailer didn't just tease horror, it crawled inside your skin and set up camp. Leon's back, looking like he's aged 10 years and survived 20. Dawn's pure dread. Lightened so thick you could spread it on toast. Capcom came swinging and said, you want horror? Here's trauma with a shotgun. Decrepit it like a rusted crowbar back at skull. It's not trying to be flashy. It's not chasing Outlast clones. It looked like something dragged out your worst dreams and dumped into a rotten asylum. Dirty, broken, and slow burning with atmosphere so thick you could chew it. It's horror for people who like feeling wrong. My kind of people. Ontos from Fractional. Yeah. Sick bastard behind Amnesia and Soma. Trailer didn't just imply psychological terror, it practically whispered it in your ear and told you your mother never loved you. It's got that perfect blend of, I want to explore this, and why the fuck did I come down this corridor? And that's what Fractional does best. They don't just scare you, they undo you. Forest 3 dropped in with that creepy nature is trying to kill you energy. This series always knew how to mix survival with supernatural dread, but this trailer felt meaner. Smarter, Steam Blair Witch on meth. And if they've learned all from past 2 games, could be nastiest co-op horror experience at year. Bring your mates, leave your hope at door. Bottom line, horror ain't just back, it's fucking swinging. This wasn't a trend, it were a statement. Games that want to disturb you, that dare to be slow, methodical, terrifying, that don't hand you a shotgun in first 10 minutes and say, go be a hero. Nah, these games want you to suffer. They want you to feel small, unsafe, haunted. And mate, I never felt more alive. Quick one for you lot, by the way. Which horror trailer sold you and which one looked like cheap jump scare bait? Stick it in comments so I know who needs therapy and who needs taste. So if you're one of those I don't like horror types, tough, 2026 is coming for you. And it's bringing shadows with it. Now let's swing plasma torch at something sacred. Star Wars games. You remember those? Used to be good. Then Dark Times came, then monetization, then mobile crap, then EA. But now it feels like Galaxy far, far away might finally be back in orbit. Because 2 trailers dropped at Game Awards that had me screaming like a Wookiee in traffic. First up, Star Wars Beta Old Republic. Mate, this is what we've been starving for. Deep lore, forced mysticism, actual storytelling. None of this shoot everything with a clone and call it canon bollocks. Trailer oozed with gravitas, Sith temples, Jedi tension, dialogue that didn't sound like it were written by a marketing intern trying to go viral. If this is a proper RPG, and I mean proper, with dialogue choices that matter and companions that aren't just loot dispensers, we might finally have real spiritual successor to KOTOR. And if it flops, then Jedi Order down again. I'm done. Then, and this is a left hook, Star Wars Galactic Racer. Yeah, pod racing's back, you beautiful bastards. Someone at Lucasfilm remembered that Star Wars has speed in its veins, not just sailors. And this trailer didn't just nod to Episode 1 Racer. It flung its corpse at wall and built something faster. Mad tracks, impossible jumps, and speed blur so intense it looked like it might break screen. It's like someone dared to have fun with Star Wars again. Imagine that. And here's the thing, these 2 games didn't even compete. One's deep lore, other's arcade chaos. And that's exactly how you use Star Wars license properly. You don't just make every game a third-person shooter with a sad Jedi and a dead mentor. You explore, you experiment, you use Galaxy. We've been waiting for this. Years of crumbs. One good game every generation. Now suddenly we've got 2 in one name. Either Mouse grew a conscience, or someone finally got fired and creatives ran wild. Either way, I'll take it. Star Wars could finally go from franchise fatigue to full-blown gaming resurrection. And I swear, if they actually stick landings here, I'll walk into a Disney store and not punch a Grogu bush. That's how serious I am. Welcome back, Star Wars. Try not to fuck it up this time. Now let's talk about nerdgasms. Cerebral crack pipe for sad bastards like me who think fun means breaking down enemy stats like a military spreadsheet. Because Game Awards didn't just flex with flashy action, they slid in some serious strategy bangers. And 2 games stood out like a level 20 wizard at a Fortnite convention. Divinity. Yeah, that Divinity. Larian's back at it. Masters at turn-based chaos. Undisputed kings of talk to a rat, burn a village, loot a god gameplay. Trailer didn't show much, but tone were clear. It's coming. Gods are stirring. World's going to shit. And we're going to have to navigate it with dialogue trees sharper than a guillotine and choices that haunt your dreams. If it's even half as good as Baldur's Gate 3, this'll dominate PC gaming like a fat kid at a buffet. But Dark Horse here, one that slipped under radar, were Warlock D&D. Holy shit, this one had me leaning forward hard. Spellcasting that looked chaotic and real time. Arcane battles with actual weight, none of that floaty, sparkly Disney crap. This were wizards trying to kill each other with magical IEDs. Imagine Licton Battle Mage but with a brain. Imagine a game where picking wrong spell in wrong moment gets you killed. That's Warlock. And if they go deep with it, proper D&D mechanics, multi-classing, weird spell interactions, we could have a surprise hit on our hands. You don't see many real-time fantasy games that respect magic. Most of them treat it like glitter with stats. But this looks dangerous. This looks earned. It's a bloody good time to have a brain. Tactical RPGs aren't just back, they're dominant. Casual crowd can keep the matchmaking systems and loot crates. Me? I want to spend an hour agonising over which spell to prep, knowing I'll probably forget to use it anyway. That's real gaming. Now then, fuck awards, fuck critics, it's games that didn't just look good, be it me rated nervous system. Straight to Bloodstream. I didn't watch these trailers, I absorbed them. And if any of them get delayed, I'm kicking off in public. First up, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis and Tomb Raider Callis. Double drop, double trouble. And let me say this loud for people in back. Lara Croft's back and she's not here to babysit you. Legacy's a love letter to OG era. Ruins, relics, and that heady sense of loneliness that made originals sing. It is a reimagining that iconic 1996 game that started it all. Catalyst, that's one going full-scale cinematic, with tech, tension, and tunes that look like they're trying to kill you. You better believe I'm diving headfirst into both. To get this right, Tomb Raider reclaims throne it built. Then there were 007 First Light. Now I've seen more bad Bond games than I've had hot dinners, but this This actually looks sharp, cinematic as hell, dripping in menace, and just stylish enough to make you believe this one might finally get it right. If they nail pacing and keep it lethal, this could be shot in arm that Bond's needed since GoldenEye nostalgia wore off. One that made me grab mic and start screaming were Total War Warhammer 40,000. Finally! We've been begging for this, screaming into it void for years while Creative Assembly danced around it with elves and goblins. And now finally we're going full grimdark. Space Marines, Orcs, Chaos, full-blown galactic warfare on a massive scale. This isn't just a game announcement, this is a lifestyle shift. I'm gonna need shelves cleared, time booked off, and a therapist on standby. It's not a game, it's a commitment. Total War with bolters. Take me money, me soul, and a small blood offering. And shout out to Surprise Spice Bomb, Orbitals. I wasn't expecting this and to grab me. Retro anime art style, neon colour palette, combat that looked fluid and weird in best way. I saw that aesthetic and me in the 90s VHS brain woke up screaming. If it controls even half as good as it looks, we've got a cult classic in making. Phantom Blade Zero also showed up with that hyper-aggressive, what if Sekiro had a nervous breakdown and got faster energy. Blades, blood, balletic violence. It looked like a fever dream wrapped in lacquered steel, and I'm 100% here for it. If it plays as smooth as it looks, it's an easy day one. Then you got Megaman Dual Override. Proper 2D Megaman, back to side-scrolling roots with pixel art that punches nostalgia-raging teeth. We've watched that franchise get stretched, flattened, and milked dry. But this looks like Capcom finally remembered why it worked. Fast, tight, deadly. This is the kind of game that'll have you smashing a controller 1 minute and screaming with joy next. That's Megaman. That's gaming. This is a confession. These games aren't just on my radar. They are my radar. Everything else at show, window dressing. These are ones I'm counting days for. These are reason we sit through all filler, fluff, awkward dev speeches and celebrity cameos. These are games that keep you hooked on industry, even when it pisses you off. So if you're like me, these trailers hit your guts like a blunt object wrapped in nostalgia, you're not alone. We're waiting. We're watching, praying they don't get Ubisofted. Now let's talk about things that shouldn't have worked, but somehow walked in, kicked door off hinges, and made every other trailer look like it was shot on Tesco Mobile. I'm talking about Street Fighter movie trailer. Yeah, you heard me. Street Fighter movie. Same franchise that gave us Van Damme doing weird accents and Zangief asking about bad guy status updates. And somehow in 2025, comes out swinging with a trailer that makes you sit up straight and go, hang on, is this actually good? Mate, it's more than good. It's a roundhouse to expectations. Cinematography's clean. Fights are brutal. Cast? Not some Netflix teen drama knockoff. Actual grown adults that look like they could kick your head off and shake your hand after. Ryu and Ken didn't just look right, they felt right. And Chun-Li? Forget fan service. She looked like she could take down a small army. Whole thing had kind of weight that says, we've been laughed at before, but not this time. It's kicker. While half the games on show were still fumbling with pre-rendered cutscenes and meaningless buzzwords, this trailer came in with identity. It knew what it was. It wasn't trying to please everyone. It were here to deliver a clean, hard-hitting vision. It made me believe again, in Street Fighter, at a Game Awards show. Do you understand how insane that is? And that's Real Twist at Night. One of the most sincere, stylish and confident things we saw. Want a game. We're a film based on a game. And somehow it stole show. Perfect uppercut to state of industry. While devs were showing in-engine concepts and empty CGI hype reels, this trailer finished its combo and walked off stage like it knew. Well, we slag industry for lazy reveals all year. But tonight they actually delivered. No NFT schemes, no mobile gadget traps pretending to be a console game, no soulless sequel bait, just real games, real trailers, real bloody excitement. A rare night went sizzle reel art shite ceremony. I just found 15 reasons to possibly bankrupt myself. Real winners went on stage. They were screaming out at screen while crowd clapped for Clair Obscur. Like, subscribe and all that bollocks. Drop your comments and questions below. Tell me what trailer blew your mind and which one made you hit mute. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent